BowHunt or Die is being brought to you by Matthews, Lost Camo, New Archery Products, Tinks, Lone Wolf Portable Tree Stands, Stealth Cam, Carbon Express, Hunter Safety System, Heartland Wildlife Institute, Moose Utility Division, Pine Ridge Archery, and the Can Cooker.
Welcome to another exciting episode of BowHunt or Die. I'm Todd Graff. Alongside of me is Justin Czar. Justin, we got a lot of action packed in this show. Tell me about some of it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 4 or 5 different hunts from people this week. As we mentioned last week, it's finally October. It's the time that we all live for. So we got guys out hunting here in Illinois. Obviously Wisconsin's been open for a while, but we got some really great bow hunts this week.
And it's not just October. It might as well, I'm going to call this like October, November. It's one weird year we're having this year. I mean, I've got trees that have already dropped almost all their leaves, and it almost feels like it's November out there. Yeah,
it's crazy. You look outside, and we're definitely 3 to 4 weeks early on the changing of the leaves, and the leaves starting to come down. So, one thing we've been talking about is, food sources this year with the drought. Lack of food, it seems like acorns is the hot place, and that's where we're going to start for our very first hunt. We're going to join one of our newest and youngest team members, Bryan Mazur, right here in northern Illinois. So let's get started.
It's opening day. We're going on this new property in northern Illinois by Rockford. I'm going to try and at least back a doe. If not, then hopefully a pretty nice buck. Okay guys, we just got in the stand a few minutes ago. We had some trail cameras down there, one on the edge on a mock scrape. And there was a few nice bucks on that one. We just on a field edge over here. And then in the corner, we had another camera kind of pointing out into the field. And every night these deer would funnel out here. There's this nice 2.5 that kept coming out here and a bunch of does. So, I'm pretty pumped because I'm pretty sure there will be a doe in here, so stay tuned. See if they come our way, and we'll sing a Hellraiser at them, so we'll see. Meh. I don't know if he fell or not. Oh man, wasn't the best shot. Wish it was a better shot, but I don't know. We'll see. I gotta keep watching him. Can't tell if he went down or not. We're just gonna have to sit out here and wait and see what happens. BowHunt or Die, baby. Okay guys, we're back out here this morning. Last night I shot a real nice buck. Wasn't the best shot. We're gonna go try and look for him. Hopefully he's laying down on the edge of the field. If not, then we're gonna have to try and find some blood and track him down.
Well, bud?
Couldn't find him this time. We looked over the footage again. We kept looking at the shot and trying to find out where I actually hit him at, and it wasn't the best shot. We couldn't find any blood at all. We looked all over the place.
Tried to do everything right. Plan came together perfect, but just shot wasn't there. Todd helped us this morning quite a bit, and we put some miles on, just looking. It's pretty open in the woods, and you can see quite a bit, and we went for a long time, 4 hours actually, and honestly couldn't find blood. This field is got so much dirt in it too. It's so dry. It's even where at the start point, it was really difficult to try and pick up where he went, but you know, we've all been there, unfortunately, and you just got to learn from it and take your time and make good shots, you know. It's all right, buddy, we'll get him.
Oh, Bryan was this close to harvesting a buck of his lifetime. You know, that buck came in just perfectly, and unfortunately, the shot just was not good enough. You know, we spent a lot of time looking for that deer. I'm personally confident that deer is not dead and is going to live another day. Quite frankly, I think they could have a chance to harvest that deer again in the weeks ahead. You know, what we do here at bowhunting.com and on our show Bowhunt or Die is we show it all, guys. You know what? We're not here to not show you what ultimately happens. We're here to show you what exactly happens. This was a situation where Bryan did everything right with the exception of just didn't make the best shot possible. So Bryan, stay at it. Keep going out there with your dad. I know it's only a matter of time, and you're going to put down a buck this year.
As Todd pointed out, our goal is to show everything when it comes to bow hunting, whether it be the good, the bad, or the ugly. You know, in Bryan's case, he didn't make the greatest hit in the world. They were unable to recover the deer, but let's face it, that's just the realities of bow hunting. It's happened to all of us. All you can do is move on, try to get better, and hopefully get a crack at another buck this fall. Now, next up, we're going to head up to Wisconsin where we're going to check in with 2 team members, Dean and Trevor, and see how they've been doing.
Well, I'm on the road here, and I'm almost to my spot here, another couple minutes, and we're gonna go out and see if we can take a doe out tonight. So stick with me, and I'll see you in the tree. All right, we're in the tree, and we're gonna see how the night unfolds. The landowner just came out and started chopping the corn, so you know, it's getting a little bit late, but that's like the dinner bell to the deer, so that might be a good thing. And he made one swipe right down through the middle of the cornfield already, so I'm sure there's deer bedded in the corn also. The mission tonight is to shoot a big doe, so hopefully we get an opportunity, and there is a couple shooter bucks on this farm also, so keep our eyes open, and with any luck, we're gonna see something. So stick with me, and maybe we can put something on the ground. There was my target deer. The doe with the split ear was the second one. There's 3 adult does and 1 fawn that just walked through about 60 yards, so I don't think I'm gonna get a chance tonight. There's a bunch of bucks out in the field there, sparring, pushing each other around. Nothing big, but fun to watch, that's for sure. All right, we're getting down to the end here with the camera light, and it was a pretty good sit tonight. Had a bunch of bucks out in the field, one probably 3.5-year-old, one 2.5-year-old, I'd say, and some 18-month-old bucks, but fun to watch. They're sparring out in the field there, and seen some does too, so there's definitely plenty of deer on this farm. It's just a matter of time of getting something close enough to shoot, so no shooters tonight, obviously, but I know there's some big ones on this farm, so we'll keep with it this season, and we'll get something down. Well, I'm back in the tree, and I'm sitting in the same tree I sat the other evening, and where I seen all those bucks sparring around out in the field. The mission again this morning was to shoot a doe, and actually 2 does, adult does, came by about 5 minutes before camera light. I had them 35 yards, and they hit my track where I walked in, and they stood there for a while. and then they were straight downwind of me, and sprayed with Tink's B-Tech this morning, and obviously it works. So it's a good sign always when you got deer downwind and they don't blow out of there. So they stood around for a little bit, walked right through a lane at 35 yards, but just didn't have the camera light. So stick with me. We're gonna hang out here for a while, and maybe we'll have another opportunity at a big doe. So see what happens. All right, it's getting a little later in the morning here, so I'm gonna wrap up and get down and go check some trail cameras. Hopefully I got a shooter on film. It's been a pretty good season so far. I'm seeing deer every day, and I had an opportunity to get my son Karsten out, who's 6 years old, for his first deer hunt this week, so we had a lot of fun. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna try to put something down, and you stick with us. Every Friday, a new episode of BowHunt or Die is coming out, so you can see how the BowHunting.com cruise seasons are going. So stick with us, and as always, good luck and be safe.
Well, it's September 28th. Kind of feels like October 28th. It's a brisk morning. And the leaves changing. I'm sitting in front of a grassy area. And clover beside us, and corn behind us, and a big bedding area. And we're hoping the deer are transitioning from the food source. It's about 600 yards away that way. They're gonna come through here. We've got a Tink's box grape I started a couple days ago when I hung this lone wolf set. It's a little chilly, but it feels good to be back in the stand. You can see the sun coming up behind us. It's gonna be a good morning. Stay tuned. BowHunt or Die. Must have smelled where we came in. I was really surprised by that. And then the doe came running right out the same hole that the fawn came out of. And I think because the fawn was alerted, the doe looked up, seen us. We're busted.
Both Trevor and Dean are out there hunting just like you guys hunt, just like I hunt, just like all of us hunt. You know what? A lot of hard work goes into finding deer and actually having that one small opportunity that finally comes your way. So we wanted to keep you abreast of what these guys were doing to show you that a lot of hard work is going in out there, and it's only a matter of time till one of these two guys put down a buck as well.
You know, I've had a lot of my seasons start off exactly like Dean and Trevor's. Early in the year when you've got the leaves on the trees, the deer aren't moving very much during daylight, there's not much you can do about it. You know, you just got to keep hunting hard. Eventually we get a cold front moving through, like this coming week. Hopefully the deer get out on their feet and they have some better luck. Now next up, we're going to head down to Kentucky. We're going to meet up with Jordan Howell, who's off to a crazy start to his season.
It's getting towards the middle of September now. It's really starting to feel like deer season's on its way here in Indiana. And actually I had an opportunity to go down to Kentucky, opening day of their season, September 1st. We went down there 3 weeks before and put in a food plot. We put in a brassica plot, spent the whole day down there working the ground, getting everything perfect. I really wasn't feeling very good either. I almost didn't go. I had been feeling groggy and sluggish for weeks. I went down there, climbed up in the tree anyway, and action started almost immediately. I hadn't been there very long at all. Just a few minutes, had a doe and a fawn come by. And that same doe and fawn came in and out 3 different times. About 45 minutes before dark, I hear something off to my right. Actually, right after the doe and fawn leave, I see an awesome buck coming out of the bedding area, still in full velvet. He's a mainframe 8 with a little double main beam on one side that kind of hooks up, and he's got a real long brow tine on one side. Just a heck of a nice deer. I couldn't stand it. I knew I had to try to get an arrow in this deer. I put the camera on the deer, I got it steadied, the deer was calm, I picked my bow up. I had mentioned that I wasn't feeling very well. Well, little did I know how sick I really was. I could not draw my bow back. I started to panic because I knew the deer was going to leave, and I gave it everything I could to get my bow back. And all of that created enough movement that the deer glanced up in the tree and saw me and trotted back up the bank into the thicket. I knew there was something wrong with me because I just immediately broke out in a cold sweat. The buck actually stayed around for about 30 more minutes until almost dark. That evening I got down. By the time I got back home, I was so sick I could barely stand, and I ended up spending 6 days in the hospital. I actually contracted West Nile Virus and was pretty darn sick actually. I just recently got out of the hospital and am trying to get back to normal, trying to learn how to shoot my bow again. I'm feeling a lot better. I can at least pull it back now. That deer's definitely on the hit list now. We're gonna name that deer Lucky because that's exactly what he is. Under any other circumstances, he'd have been dead. That's part of hunting. He got away, 1 point for him. Make sure you keep checking back with us every week on BowHunt or Die, see how our season goes, and thanks for watching.
Wow, I don't think Jordan could have any worse of luck. I've talked to him, he's finally on the recovery track. That was a monster buck that was below his stand that day, and he just didn't have the strength to pull his bow back. He's got some absolute slammers on trail cameras and so forth. I know he's got one goal and one goal only, and that's to put one of those bucks down. I am absolutely looking forward to see what he does this fall.
That's a really unfortunate start to the beginning of Jordan's hunting season. Now, I know he was disappointed that he didn't get a shot at that deer, but at the end of the day, when you step back and you really take a look at the big picture, the most important thing is that he is healthy now. He's getting stronger. He's going to be able to continue hunting this fall. We all love to hunt. We all love to be out in the woods, but let's face it, our health is the most important thing. So you definitely have to take care of yourself first and then hunt later. Now, next up, we're going to check back in with Todd and see how his season is going.
Well, my luck has absolutely changed. You know what? On the opener I went out, I was able to stick with my plan, and it came together perfectly. Since then, I just have not had the luck that I've been looking for. I've been in the tree now, I've been hunting different spots, I've been moving around, I've been taking advantage of the different sets I have for different wins, and it just hasn't panned out. I'm hoping with this cold front coming in, I'm gonna have some better luck.
All right, as always, we want to take a couple seconds to thank the people who sent in their photos for this week's show. Brennan Strobe, Corey Kujawa, Kenny Griffin, Mitchell Camps, and Daniel Allred. Hey, congratulations everybody, those are some great trophies. Now remember, if you want to see your photo right here in an episode of BowHunt or Die, all you've got to do is click on the Submit Your Trophy button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and you may see yourself here next week. Now before we go, one last thing I want to tell you guys about. Just today, literally, we got our brand new BowHunt or Die hats in stock. So if you guys are interested in buying these hats or any of the shirts or other gear that we have available, all you've got to do is click on the shopping tab at the top of the screen, click on bowhunting.com gear, and order away. Well, there you have it, guys. That's all the hunting action we've got for this week. Todd, looking forward to the next couple of days or the next week. We've got a pretty good cold front moving through right here in the northwest, which I think is going to have the deer up on their feet, hopefully before dark these next couple of days, and it should be a really good opportunity to shoot a deer.
Well, and just besides the cold front, Justin, I mean, you know what? I am a believer in the moon guide. I've always loved watching it. I figured it's one more thing in my arsenal. And according to the moon times too, the next 5 or 6 days are good moon phase to be hunting. So you've got cold front coming in, you've got good moon phase. So those are 2 things you got going for you.
Yeah, and obviously the deer are still somewhat unpressured with the seasons just having opened. So, it just really kind of stacks the odds in your favor. I know another thing we've talked about is, the early fall that we're having. Most of the trees are, turning colors. I'm talking a couple weeks earlier than usual. You go outside right now, I mean, it looks like November and it's early October. So, with that early fall, I think, we're going to start seeing some increased scrape activity here early in the year. If these bucks start working these scrapes during daylight hours, sometime in early October, it could be a really good spot, to try and shoot a buck.
Yeah, and if you want to have fun, guys, set up those scrapes. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a fan of the Tinks products. I mean, I just absolutely love putting those drippers up and having those cameras only be about 10 or 15 feet away max, and you just get these great pictures of when those big bucks start finally coming in of just super close-up shots.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, and the one thing that I think a lot of people fail to realize sometimes is, getting trail camera pictures and videos is cool. It allows you to see what bucks are out there and you give them names or whatever. But, where it really helps is, when you start checking those cameras and you're seeing daytime activity on those scrapes, that's kind of the signal to really get out there and start hunting those scrape lines pretty hard, because, that's kind of, at least for me, the trigger of like these bucks are starting to go into rut.
Yeah, and one last final tip that I think could be really beneficial to you guys. This drought is not just about Illinois. This drought is pretty widespread through a lot of different states. And I can tell you, some areas were significantly hit harder than other areas. And if you are in one of those areas that hasn't, rainfall-wise, been caught up just yet, and you have any kind of green, whether it's alfalfa, whether it's winter wheat, a cut winter wheat patch that's growing for the second time, or newly planted winter wheat or clover, I'm telling you, if you're in a hardcore drought area and you've got a little bit of green, my trail cameras are showing me that's a money spot to be.
Well, there you have it, guys. Like I said, that's all we got for this week. So make sure you check back next week right here in BowHunt or Die and see if we can't put down a couple more deer.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories. So join us now and like us on Facebook. Welcome to another exciting episode of BowHunt or Die. I'm Todd Graff, executive producer, and alongside of me is Justin's our co-producer.
I'm the key grip. Always wanted to be the key grip.
Key grip? I don't know even what that means.
I don't either. I just always see it in the credits.